let's get more creepy than usual today, and let's draw 2 kids taking their heads off and swapping them for different heads. So straight up, I decided to film some of the sketch process that I did for this piece, and because I was too lazy to, at the beginning of this video as I was recording, to go and get the stand, I just held the phone, because I film off my phone. I just held my phone, and then I went and got my stand after I realised that I couldn't hold the camera and draw because the paper was sliding around everywhere. So I went and got the stand, and then proceeded to then put the stand in my lap because I wanted some different angles, and then I just went, bugger it, I'm just gonna put the stand up where it usually is. And I have said this before, but if you're wondering why there's different table backgrounds, or that's even if you care, it's because during the day I like to do my sketch processing and my sketch processes while I'm sitting at my office desk. So that's why you'll see a white background with a keyboard and a mouse sometimes in the shot, because I'm sitting at my office desk. I've got all my references open on my computer from Pinterest. Most of the stuff I get from Pinterest, it's just ideas that, you know, help me get the ideas that I put on paper, and yeah, that's basically all it is. So I'm using Connie's Aussie Nature palette for this piece, because for some reason I was feeling these colours after I swatched them to apply it to this piece. And look at those colours, they are lovely. So I was going to put these colours I was going to do like a nature piece from Australia, but I still will do that. But I just wanted to use them with this illustration. I was just feeling it for some reason. I just looked at those colours and then looked at this piece and went, yep, that's going to be a match. All the colours that I want to use are on this palette. I'm going to put them into this one. So the story behind this piece is I just wanted to do some creepy ass kid art again. Like I just honestly believe that if you put kids in situations like in horror movies and stuff like that, it's frightening. Like, I reckon it's maximum frightening, you know, it's just maximum chill factor when you put kids in a situation where it's creepy, like they're a ghost or they're a demon, or, you know, they've been possessed or whatever. So I went down this track, and basically the characters, they're a brother and sister, and, you know, they date back to around the 1900s, you know, the beginning of the 1900s. So they're back in the old school period of time, not too far back, but you know what I mean. And they've decided that they want to take their own heads off. They don't want to be human anymore. They want to be monsters. And you know, most normal kids go, all right, mum, dad, buy me a mask. I want a freaking mask. I want to pretend I'm something else. But these kids have taken it to the next level. They've gone, let's just go out, let's just get a couple of monsters, let's just decapitate them, and then you stitch my head on and I'll stitch your head on of these monsters. Let's do it. So that's what they've done. And they want to be these horrible monsters. They're just holding their own original heads as to say, this is boring. We don't want to be completely human anymore. Let's go and, you know, pretend that we are something else. But instead of actually pretend, let's actually be that monster. So that's what they've done, you know. Who's to say that at the end of the day they don't go back to their rooms and cut the monster heads off and then reattach their own heads? You know, your imagination is, you know, let it run wild, because that's could be what they're doing. Who knows? all I know is they have just next leveled up with character playing. That's what they've done. Gone are the days where people go and buy masks. And then what happened at the bottom of the screen here is I was holding the palette and the brown fell off onto the picture, and it went everywhere because it was soaked in water, and it just left brown marks all over the bottom of the boy, which makes him look like he's shit himself basically, which is quite funny. And I tried to lift it up as best I could, and it really did stain. So I just thought, bugger it, I'll do the best I can and then try and hide it with the colour of the background that I do later. Which I think I did alright, but I ended up doing another mistake, which I ended up accidentally putting a red blob up in the top right corner by the girl's head, monster head. There's a few little hiccups, but that was purely my fault. Just, you know, it's what happens. But the colours, like this Aussie nature palette of Connie's was just, the colours were they're perfect for me, because honestly, yes, like Connie's made them as an Australian nature palette, but I see coloured, you know, monster palette. So it's just all the colours that I would naturally use to make monsters. I use, you know, monsters. To me, most of my my monster characters have either a blue or a green skin, and that was in the palette, with a bit of brown, which was in the palette, the yellows and the sort of like the red, the reddy brown. I do use a bit of the reddy brown, and there's some blues. Like, it's just the perfect palette for me to look at that and go, I can create monsters from this palette. So Connie's created not only an Aussie nature palette, but a monster palette as well. It's a very multi-useful palette. That's just, you know, that's what I see anyway. So Connie, you've done well. It's awesome. This is an awesome palette, but I do want to do an actual nature scene from Australia. I'm going to do that eventually with that palette, so stay tuned for that, because yeah, it'll be a case of how can I gore that up, because I won't be able to just do a plain nature scene. It just doesn't run in my blood to do that, and it doesn't make me comfortable to not include some sort of gruesomeness into it. But I didn't just use Connie's watercolours alone. I did end up using black from my old Mont Marte palette and the red from my Mont Marte tubes to add the blood, and I used the black and the purple from Connie. I used the black from my Mont Marte's, and I used the purple colour from Connie's palette to mix up a shading. So I went through and did some shading on everything. And yeah, basically that's it. And I went in with a green background, just a square background, just to, I don't know, I'm sort of really been into them lately. I've been really enjoying sort of squaring off and doing like either a circle or a square in the background of just colour that doesn't go quite up to the characters, but just goes around like a white ring. And I've just been really enjoying that. I don't know how long I'm going to continue doing that, or if I just do it every now and again. Yeah, I'm just enjoying it at the moment, so I'm just experimenting with different things. And yeah, that's basically it. That's my story of these two siblings that just want to play dress up and have taken it to the next level. That's basically it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this illustration, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.